Hey guys, we're back. I'm back. Okay, I don't even know where to begin other than first of all saying Australia was amazing, absolutely amazing. So, have no doubt about that. I desperately, desperately, desperately want to go back. So, yeah, I'm just kind of chilling out right now. It's been a lot of traveling, so trying to stave off jet lag, but definitely feeling a little bit tired. But everything is just amazing, and I don't know where to start. I don't want this to be a crazy long video. So I already had a little bit of a video telling about getting to Australia, sort of. So Annabelle and I went from Detroit to LA, and that flight was like getting in the Detroit airport was easy, but then once you landed in LA, there was a lot of confusion about where we needed to be and what tickets we needed to get and where we needed to get the tickets and what terminal we needed to be in to get the tickets, and all that kind of stuff. So that was a bit stressful. But then we finally got on that flight, just as everyone was starting to line up to get on the flight. And then once we landed in Melbourne, we had a layover from Melbourne to Adelaide, and when we got there, we thought we found the correct gate based on what Annabelle's boarding pass said. But no one was really there, and we thought, well, we might just be early, whatever. And so we waited around for like an hour and a half, just doing whatever, and went back to the gate. And all of a sudden, they were boarding people for a different flight, and we were kind of confused. So eventually, we went up and we discovered that we were in the wrong area completely. We were in an international departure terminal or whatever you want to call it, and we needed to be in domestic because we were just going from Melbourne to Adelaide. So we had to eventually get out of that and get into the right domestic area in the airport, and then had to go through customs and security, and all of that took about 2 or 3 hours. So the people at customs were asking like, what took you, well, more security. When they look at your passport, they're like, why, what have you been doing for the past few hours? And so they're kind of skeptical, but we really were just lost. And then once we got through that, when we went to get our baggage, because we discovered we'd been told in Detroit that our bags would be checked all the way through to Adelaide, but we discovered that we had to recheck our bags. And so when we went to the luggage area, I found my bag, but Annabelle's bag was nowhere to be seen. So there was a lot of freaking out about that. And I mean, we kept calm, but we were very worried, and eventually we just had to give up and trust that we were told that her bag had actually been sent through. So we trusted that that was the case, and we just made it like 10 minutes before the flight started boarding, and that layover was a 4-hour layover. So if you can imagine all the insanity that happened there. So that was very, very stressful. And we finally landed in Adelaide, and meeting my sister was just bizarre. Because we finally got into the airport, and we were going up like the ramp thingy, whatever that's called, and I just started crying because I was so excited that my sister was actually there somewhere, and I was so relieved that we were finally there, okay, on time. And we went on one of the moving sidewalk, walkie things, whatever you call that, and she was apparently at the end, and I didn't even realize until like I looked up and I saw this girl like leaning over and like giving me this look like hello. But yeah, so we met her finally, and I gave her some big hugs and gave her husband a big hug, and was just very happy. And she was worried. She's like, "Are you okay? I thought something was wrong. Why are you crying?" And I was like, "No, I'm just happy." Very relieved, very happy. So they drove us to their house, and I can't remember absolutely everything that happened day by day, but that next day was pretty chill. They took us to a really nice restaurant. But speaking of chill, that day was the only really cold day that we had, and it was not that cold by Michigan comparison, but it felt pretty cold to me, and it was rainy, so rain does not make for warm weather very much ever. And it was pretty much a dreary day, and it rained all day. But they took us to a lovely restaurant and drove us around a little bit to see a cool old house that people had taken wood from all over the world, hundreds of year old wood, and incorporated it into their big house. And it was just like a museum, a house that was a museum, and all the old like plates and decorations that they had from all around the world. It was just really cool. So that was fun. And then the next day, I believe, was when we went to Victor Harbor in Adelaide, because we were in Adelaide. And that was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The beach was so blue. The weather was much warmer than we expected, so we were actually hot hiking. And a little bit precarious because it had just rained the day before, so the little paths we were hiking on were muddy and slippy, and it was kind of dangerous. But just because the paths were sometimes next to like kind of little drop-off areas, so it was a little scary. You could easily slip and broken something, or worse. But it was well worth it. The beaches were absolutely amazing there, and there's a whale. Even though we didn't see it very well, there was a whale in the water. And yeah, and the next day might have been a chill day. I can't really remember. But they did take us to Derenburg, which is in Hondorf, I believe. No, I think it's separate. But we did go to Hondorf. That was near the end of our trip, and that's like a little German town in South Australia, and it was so cute. Of course, plenty to drink, but just really cute little shops. It wasn't busy because it wasn't the weekend. I've heard it gets crazy busy on the weekends, but it was very calm when we were there. And yummy places to eat, lots of gift shops, some kind of funky shops, you know, there's cute funky things. Just really nice little streets, very safe feeling area. So that was fun. We went to, I wish I had the map that kind of laid out the things, but we went to a winery. That's not Derenburg. I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, I'm so bad at remembering things, but beautiful, beautiful wine country in Adelaide. I would have had no idea, and if you told me it was Italy, I probably would have believed you. But yeah, just gorgeous wine country out there, and they took us to a winery that offered free samples, and it was all great. I'm not always I like drinking red wine, but it's not because I always love the flavors, so I'm going to be honest and say I didn't necessarily love all the flavors of the wines, but some of them were good. And we had a dessert wine that, yet again, I can't remember the name of, but it was like this yellowish syrupy looking thing, and it was absolutely delicious. It was so sweet, you didn't need a ton of it, and it was like drinking dessert. It was incredible. Probably one of the best alcoholic drinks I've ever had, ever. It was amazing. So that was a lot of fun. They took us to, I think there was Brighton Beach, maybe? So a few different beaches in Adelaide over our time there, and it was beautiful to see the sunsets over the ocean, walk out on the jetties. There's families and kids and the fishers on the jetties, and just a wonderful atmosphere really there, where they took us. I'm trying to think. They took us to it's not a zoo. I want to call it a zoo. It wasn't a zoo. It was a nature reserve. And that was really fun. Got to pet and feed some kangaroos, and got to pet a koala and feed all kinds of really, really cute little creatures that just were everywhere begging for food, basically. Just seems like a lot of their animals are really, really cute there, which I won't complain about at all, as long as they're not poisonous, which I don't think we ran into any poisonous animals. Yeah, and I mean, we did plenty of other things. Op shops. We were taken to op shops, which is what they call resale stores. Which honestly, if I lived there, I would probably be frequenting them all the time. But that's for another video. Yeah, and so that was fun just to see what they had. It had the exact same kind of smell as the American resale stores have, so that was really funny. I'm trying to think, cause just went around different towns. I love the city of Adelaide is just so much fun, I think, to walk around. I love just different restaurants and shops that you can go in, and I might just be thinking more of the Rundle Mall area. I think I am. But Rundle Mall is just a lot of fun, I think, because it's outdoors and it's kind of big. It's huge compared to what I'm grown up with here. I'm sure it's not that huge compared to other places, but it's huge compared to what I'm used to. And it's outside, which was a lot of fun, and the weather was great whenever we'd be shopping there. And there's tons of people, tons of internationals, which is also great fun. There's a huge market, Central Market, which is great. It has huge amounts of produce and all types of different foods you could ever want, you know, like sausage places and seasoning places and olive oil places, and obviously fruits and vegetables and dessert places, chocolate places, like everything all in this huge market. And that was just so much fun to walk around and sample things. Got to eat so much food for free. Yeah, so that was great. It was just, there's so many things that I just loved. And then Sydney, would have loved to have been there a little longer just to explore it more. We were there during Vivid Sydney, and I would absolutely recommend, if you're ever going to go to Sydney, go when Vivid Sydney is on, because it was just awesome. The buildings were lit up really, really cool. The fronts, they had projections that were the exact size of the building itself, and they were specific to that building. And I mean, it's kind of trippy sometimes. It's not that the projections always made sense or looked normal, as you'll see in some videos I will post eventually. But yeah, it was just absolutely fascinating to just witness that in person. And the Opera House, most of all, was just gorgeous. Gorgeous. All kinds of designs and themes, and there was music. It was just really, really magical to be down there during that time, and tons of people were everywhere from all over the world enjoying it, you know, so it's quite an international scene, and it's I feel like it should be called Australia's best kept secret. That's what I'm trying to say, because it seemed like a lot of people were not extremely familiar with it if they weren't from the Sydney area, but you should go, it's gorgeous. So yeah, that was really cool, and we ate a delicious Italian cafe off of Chalice Street. We were staying on Chalice, which is near King's Crossing, I believe it's called, which is not such a great area of Sydney, apparently. Not at night, at least, on the weekends. But where we were, it was fine, and there was just a delicious little cafe, and like the menu was practically in Italian, it seemed like, but it was amazing. Everything was fresh, just amazing. So yeah, it was just, the whole trip was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And if you're wondering if you should go to Australia, go. We were very fortunate. My sister and her husband were just incredible hosts. Incredible. They spoiled us with so many gifts and took us to so many awesome places. Worked very hard to hit all of the key areas of Adelaide that are highlights. We're very honest and open. They didn't try to sugarcoat life at all, per se. You know, they'd be very honest about, oh, there's these political issues going on and we don't really agree with this, but they weren't negative. You know, they're doing the best they can to find joy in life regardless and do what they love. And they love to travel, so they loved having us there and just kind of opening up Australia to us and just making people feel special and cared about. They did an incredible job of that. I could never have done as well as they did, and we never once felt neglected or uncared for or unsafe with them. They were like family away from family. So, and they are my family. They really are. So it was just the most incredible experience I ever could have asked for. And I will post more videos because there's just so much to tell. But yeah, that's it in a bit of a nutshell. Sorry this was so long. But yes, so we are back, and we're very happy to be home, but I myself desperately want to go back as soon as I can. If that is possible, we will see. So yes, we'll see you later. Bye.